Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of History Unboxed, a podcast where history is unboxed and brought to life. I'm Lois, and I'm excited to be your host for today. And today, joining me, we have
Miss Gloria.
Welcome to the show, Gloria.
Thank you.
Today, we have two amazing, fascinating topics to discuss about. And for the first one, we have how Flora Shaw proposed the name Nigeria for this region. And secondly, we have the Lord Lugard 1914 decision to unite the northern, western, and eastern region of this country together. So today we'll be starting with how she proposed, how Flora Shaw proposed the name Nigeria for this country. I said, well, what do you have for us today?
Well, long before a nation was called Nigeria, it was not called Nigeria. We had different empires, different kingdoms, powerful ones at that, where the land was ruled by, it was home for these powerful kingdoms and empire, from the Yoruba Oyo Kingdom Empire, the Yoruba Oyo Empire, the Edo Bini Kingdom, the Kanem Borno Empire, the Inri community, also known as the Igbo community, and then we had Hausa Sokoto Caliphate. Then lastly was the Tiv lands. These people were individual, they were independent civilization with different cultures, rulers, and languages.
Okay.
And as at that time, I ruled this one. Everybody just rule separately, different people, different places. Then as at 1897, they came Flora Shaw.
Okay. So firstly, who is Flora Shaw, or who was? Because I think she's later already. So who was Flora Shaw?
Flora Shaw is as at then, Flora Shaw was a British journalist, and also a writer for Times London.
Yes, in London.
So at that period, she was in Nigeria, or let's say the different places. So at that period, she picked up a word from Niger River. That's River Niger. And River Niger was derived from a word French and Latin.
Really?
And and then she just added IA to Niger, and that was how came Nigeria. She just named it Nigeria. And since she was a writer, it was easier for her to campaign for Nigeria to be colonized. You know, if you name something Nigeria and these people don't come together as one, it will not call Nigeria. Because now you have to say, okay, maybe Kanem should be Nigeria, but the other parts might not agree. So she had to beg, and since it was a writer, it was easier for her to campaign for the colonization for Nigeria. And the person enforcing this was Lord Frederick Lugard, who she later got married to.
Yes, I knew that. Okay, so she created the name Nigeria from the River Niger. And the existing name as at then was the Royal Niger Company Territories, which was given by the Lord Lugard and the fellow colonies as at that time. So she thought the name was too broad, that for a country you can't just give that's like a 4-word sentence to a country. So she formed the name, which is kind of amazing, and that's why we have the beautiful name Nigeria today. So moving on, we want to move on to the next topic, which is talking about how that decision of giving the name Nigeria influenced the 1914 amalgamation, and how it united the different parts of that northern, the western, and the eastern parts of Nigeria together. In the early 1900s, the Britons controlled several territories in the area. That was the northern, the southern, and the colony of Lagos. And on January 1st, 1914, Frederick Lugard, the colonial masters for that time, officially amalgamated these administrations into one entity and called them the colony or all corporates of Nigeria. Now, the main question is, why did the Britain merge them together? That is the main question. Do you have any ideas as to why?
Lord Lugard decision. I like to always use the word forcefully.
Okay.
Merging the southern and the Northern protectorate, because they were not asked, as at that time, Nigerians were not asked if they want to be merged together. He says he was a colony master. He just thought it wise to just merge these people. So that's why I always think forcefully merged. So he did that because of his own reasons. And one of the reasons was, as at then, the northern region, they were running on deficits. They were relying more on the British funds, and meanwhile the southern parts, they were prospering. They had the funds, so he thought it wise to merge these people so they work together. So the funds from the south parts will go directly to the north. So the funds from south will work. They will use it in funding the northern part. They don't want to use their own money again. And after that one, we had the administrative costs. Now, if Southern can produce these goods and Northern can produce this one, before Northern is going to like transport their own goods to a different place, and then this one too. So the money to give this one for the transportation and transportation movement was expensive. So they had to like cut down costs.
So non-pro.
Yeah, it's better. Once the Southern bring their own goods and then the Northern bring their own goods, they will pile everything together and then send one. So this one now, their own money parts or the cost has reduced to just one instead of two.
Okay.
And then they wanted a part where they can control these people as one. Now, I lead Southern and then I'm going straight to Northern again to go lead them. So they have to like merge both together just to rule over them in one rule, one law, one everything, just to make it flow.
Okay. So just like you said, there was the trade parts too. I think they were the railway and the trade part. They wanted integrated transport and trade network to move like agricultural products also at that time to the southern parts for exports. And also they were administrative convenience, just like you said. They were running separate governance, and running separate governance was like very, very expensive as at then, because the funds was only coming from one place. So dividing it into like two different parts was kind of very, very difficult. So a single administration was expected to like reduce the cost and simply do the simplified colonial rule. Where was there public consent? That is a question that is majorly asked. Was there public consent, or it was just a one-man decision and then it stood by decision?
Well, there was no nationwide democratic consultation as at then.
Okay, so the colonial decisions were just made by the British government, not exactly. Okay, so another question: how did the amalgamation create long-term problems? That's one question that's kind of troubling people. So what do you think about that?
Well, merging different people with different cultures, ruler and tradition, it will definitely cause deep divisions.
Yeah.
Because let's say we have a ruler in the southern part and a ruler in northern part. We rule differently. We have different ideas, different cultures, where you don't merge us together, no consent, and now we are as one. It will definitely cause division. Because you're telling me I should how should I put the word? I should behave well with these people when their own culture maybe forbids my own culture.
Yeah.
Now we have to like stay together. So no shared national identity, because now I was thinking only for my own tribe or my own religion. Now you want me to think about the others. So those kind of things nobody was thinking is going to happen, and now it's happening. And the other part was after the whole amalgamation thing, they now said these people will pick one leader to rule all of the protectorates. Before, this one will rule its own tribe, this one will rule its own region. But now you're saying we want one person. And I'm picking one person, You're not even sure that person is going to win this thing.
Yeah.
So in 1960, it started with the whole thing. And you bring, and we pick one person. And till today, it still doesn't work like that. I want to pick somebody from my own place.
Exactly.
I want to pick somebody from my own place. All these things are still division. And it still happens till date. Because everybody thinks differently. And now we want us to think together as one.
So let's talk about how these very tensions eventually erupted into the devastating 1967. to 1970 Civil War. How the Civil War came about.
Yeah, so as at that period too, they were still trying to, stay as one. But religion, diversity, different cultures, and people that were in northern parts, especially Igbos, they were staying in the north. And since they picked a different person from a different place to rule them, this thing caused the civil war. They started killing the Igbos in the northern parts, and they had to flee to eastern part again. So you'd have to leave the north part and flee
to the east
and
part.
There's also a movie on this whole civil war thing. So killing these people, making them flee to their own places, somebody had to stand up for them. So Ojukwu had to say, okay, we as Eastern, we are removing ourselves from this so-called Nigeria thing. And the person in charge, which is the government at that period, said it's not possible. You can't remove yourself already as one. And they were killing our people. You people said nothing, and now they are back. None of the Igbo people are in northern part because the ones they've killed, and 3 million persons or 3 million those died as at that period, and it lasted for 3 years. And then they are back. We want out. We don't want this thing again. And you're saying it's not possible. And that was how the Biafra war came, because they now said we don't want to be part of Nigeria. We want to create our own thing, and then name it Biafra. Yeah.
Okay. So, I think that was at that time the 1966 military coups also started. On January 15th, 1966, a group of young military personnel overthrew the civilian government. Also, Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa as at that time, and several prominent political leaders were also killed.
Yeah,
those are one of the problems that I think they were trying to bring the peace and unity and everything to for everyone to be one. Let's have one understanding. I know we have different ethnic groups, we have different tribes and everything, but let's have one understanding. But some military personnel at that time plotted a coup, and then they killed some of them, some prominent politicians as of that time. And then also in 1966 July, Northern military officers staged a counter coup also, during which the head of state, Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi, was killed, and Yakubu Gowon became the head of state. I think he was also the head of state at the time the Biafra War also started. So yes, I think dividing them caused a bit of rift, because everybody has their tribe, everybody has their understanding. Imagine being an Igbo person, even in the north, they still do it. Yeah. Imagine being an Igbo person and being in the north, and you're the kind of person that likes to show your skin, and the Northerners are saying, no, you have to cover, you have to wear a full hijabi, you have to cover your entire body, and you're like, no, I can't do that. There are some persons that they have even killed because they see that, okay, this person does not want to bow down to Allah, or this person does not want to self-acclaim Allah, that this is the person I want to, or this is who I want to serve, and they have killed them. And I've seen stories of girls that have been killed because of why they refuse to cover the body with hijabi, or they refuse to cover okay, it's not compulsory to wear the hijabi, but you should cover your full skin. Yeah, everybody likes to show their entire body, and not everybody likes to keep their body closed. Everybody has their own mentality, but the fact that they did not align to them and they still do it. So it's something that, even with the way we still look like we are one, we don't have the same mindset.
No.
Everybody has their own mindset. I have my own mindset, you have your own mindset, but from different parts of the world. My culture might not align. When I see people tell me, oh, they eat dog meat, and I'm like, no, I cannot eat dog meat, because in my place, as a woman, you can't eat dog meat. So it's kind of crazy that everybody has their own traditions and belief. So you can't force your own culture on me, and I can't force my culture on me. If somebody has to rule us, let us come together as one and say, okay, this person deserves it, and that is because he deserves it, not because he just wants to be there, not because he's okay. People just say, okay, it's good, let's just put him there. Let us as one put him there, because tribalism is, because this whole thing is beginning to look like tribalism. The Northern, the Yorubas, the Igbos, everybody has their own mindset. The Yorubas are saying, oh, we must lead. The Igbos are saying, no, we must have our own part. The Northerns are killing people because of why they're not aligning to what they want. So yeah, these are one of the causes of this at the causes of the 1967 to 1970 Civil War. So I think I'm not supposed to say it. Hi, Jesus. My neck first.
Hey, ain't down. We could just let me run.
We go contact. No worry.
Okay.
So
and with that, we've come to the end of today's episode on History Unboxed. Please remember to leave a comment on our social media pages on Light Africa TV, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and also remember to follow and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Light Africa TV. Happy weekend and thank you for watching. See you next week.
see you next time. Bye.